Our next reader is Lucy Tuholske. Here is a line of Lucy's so good that you'll want to hear it twice. First here from me, and next, in a minute, sewn back into its poem in Lucy's own voice. The silence scares me into believing we're not real. That line between firm and impalpable, real and vanishing, runs through Lucy's work. Nothing seems to remain for absolute sure on one side or the other. We're offered sharpnesses, flashing light on the surface of puddles and midnight streets, a taste of copper. Imagine this candy store where you can have nothing at all.
I have to go. I'm so sorry, but it feels so cold in here. I am just now realizing they don't care.
Thank you so much. I love that. I have 4 poems today that I'll be reading. The first one is Aqua Blue Honda, named after a song of the same title, one that I listened to a lot in high school and then rediscovered it and just felt really inspired. So this is Aqua Blue Honda. Blue darkness surrounds us. Midnight moon shining down on traffic lights that hover over intersections undiscovered. Rumbling of the engine drowns the flames burning in this encapsulated space. Red flashes to green, but we stay put. Lights reflecting in puddles on the pavement, shining like an urban Christmas to remind us we're home. From time to time we travel far from the pavements we know, unrecognizable faces in indistinguishable places. Even though its velvet soft walls and metal bars keep us contained, sometimes I feel myself drift away. The silence scares me into believing we aren't real. But then Etta James comes on the radio. Your hand returns to mine, and the soothing voice promises we'll be fine. Adrenaline tastes better when you're flying down the highway. Tiny white dashes hypnotize you as the trees enchant you. Mountains line the road, rocky edges of intimidation. But in this tiny car, we can never be lost. Never unattached from the blue anchor that tethers us, road signs race by, becoming faded images of the past as we march on, mile for mile. This next one is called Domestic. Is she lost? Or have his roars drowned her screams, locked her into a cell with no windows where she can't dream into the stars nor sail away under the moon? And the colors aren't as bright in her dim life. When he wears a badge of forgiveness in the shape of his fist, nothing can cover the bruises or the memories. He lays her out shattered, and she's left alone, only escaping through pills that fly her to the rings of Saturn, a psychedelic army to bomb his dusty recliner and explode the cigarette hanging from his mouth. Rockets to her peace. This third one is called Luck in the Dining Room, and I did write it in my dining room. How did we end up here? Uncomfortable silence breeding, sitting 6 feet apart in a dark brown room. Flower petals litter the black-stained wood, discarded stems patting the trash at the end of the driveway. Maybe it was our lifted feet over railroad tracks, all the breaths we held on bridges over rivers and lakes, that dented horseshoe over the bedroom door. I guess it was foolish to rely on childish superstitions. Puzzling doubt woven through misguided portraits screwed on the walls, camouflaged with fluorescent smiles and bright red lips. Sadness swirls in paisley patterns, tainting the aged bottle of wine. Bitterness to tickle my nostrils. It's a slow climb to the overpass and a deeper fall when looking down. The reflective white dashes are designed to hypnotize, but only when you're flying, doing 80 and a 60. A phantasmagorical mirage of silver soldiers marching on. Dreams that court you, spoil you, leave you aching. Eyes wide open, body that shudders from a now alien touch. Lipstick smudge turned gray, the only trace left. Our sun has set. The lights in Paris have all burned out. And then this last one I'm going to read is actually a pantoum, two-part pantoum. I wrote it kind of in isolation, wondering about, as we sit in the house, what's going on with nature outside. So in the backyard, part 1. The crickets have been subdued lately. Their chirps, once a roaring, organic symphony, now just a mild murmur. Perhaps they feel the cold creeping in at night. It started slowly, but has quickly developed a frosty layer. A roaring and organic symphony is now just a mild murmur because the frogs have stopped croaking too. It started slowly, but has quickly developed. I no longer hear the calls for secret lovers in the night. I knew when the frogs stopped croaking, the cold had crept in to smother the night. No longer hearing the call, secret lovers vanished. The crickets have been subdued lately. Part 2. Life has wasted away, fleeing from the sunlight alongside the moon. Without sunbeams, somber shadows were all that was left. In the wake of death, I saw everything turn into absolutely nothing. Sorrow to wail over the dying lavender, mold to infect the infertile soil. Without sunbeams, somber shadows were all that could exist. The damage weaving its slender yet dominant pinwheel of poison, sorrow over dying lavender, mold covering the now infertile soil, a needle pulling toxic thread, stitching the holes closed. The damage, its weave so slender, the poison wouldn't dominate you right away. But then the coppery orange taste on your tongue, a needle poking through toxic thread, stitching the hole closed, until the glow is gone, trapped in suffocating lifeless gloom. The coppery orange taste on the tongue, the wake of death, everything turned to absolutely nothing. The glow is gone, suffocating lifeless gloom, life wasted away, sunlight fleeing alongside the moon. There we go.
All right, we are going to have like a 2-second intermission. It's like the part in Sound of Music where they show you pictures of Vienna, which you'll never get to visit because of the coronavirus. Play music, stuff like that. In our case, what we're going to do is, what I'm going to do is toast the seniors. Our seniors